Hello, guys. I am Shane Davis, 20-year comic book veteran. I'm here with Yanzi Lin, and today is the day we are talking about the American comic book industry and how it desperately needs to be saved. And do we have a plan? Mark Millar has a couple of ideas, and we're going to walk through that. But before we get into it, if you guys will, look down below, hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notification. You will see that 9 lives bullet right there in the corner. You want to click that.
We have some tweets here from Mark Millar talking about the state of the comic industry. It's like, that seems to be the topic right now. Everyone's like, suddenly, oh my gosh, industry's not doing as well as we said it was doing. So Mark Millar says he thinks it's a very realistic scenario. If we continue as it is, 25% of stores will close next year and the collapse will begin. Sounds like a certain article we've been reading. And he goes on to say that the direct market, which is 90% of the US industry, and by the way, American superhero floppies, that market is only 9% of the entire comic book industry in America. So pretty yikes. Has about 2 years on the current trajectory before there's a massive percentage of store closures. So lots of warning bells here. In fact, Mark makes such a big deal about this. He even tweeted his big thread we're going to talk about to Jim Lee and CB Sapolsky, the two respective heads of DC and Marvel. So let's see what exactly is he talking about. Of course, Mark first clarifies that he's not working for Marvel and DC at the moment, but he has a lot of friends there, so he wants to give some advice in good faith to help supercharge both freelance deals and the corporates themselves. So he talks about the first thing is he used to make $1,000 a page plus royalties, but nowadays guys are on 90 a page, and that's criminal. We're now watching that there's some publishers like Boom and all that doing what, like $25 a page and so on. So 90 is generous. I don't even think the starting page rate for writers at Marvel and DC is even $90 these days. And now the big womp here is when he says, no, the comic market has collapsed in the past 5 years. Really? We are finally admitting now that the past 5 years was nothing but this whole big gaslighting from all the creators who are saying, no, it's doing better than ever. All you guys who do not know how to move with the times here are all bigots and Yazis. Oh, I guess finally it means something, huh? So because it collapsed in the past 5 years, companies have less money to pay staff and freelancers, which of course means less people want to work in the comics. Right now, the comic book industry has this system of paying a 2% royalty for maybe, say, sales over $50,000 a copy or something. Maybe, I don't know. Now, this 2% could be based on, I guess, probably the cover price, or maybe it's the company profits. Whatever it is minuscule, okay, compared to whatever the companies themselves makes. So what Millar is proposing here is he wants a 50-50 split with the creative team on all sales over 60,000 copies. And he believes that will send a bolt of electricity through the industry and bring in the most commercial freelancers into the business again.
Now, this is a really good business idea. And the reason why, but it won't work in the long term, and I'll explain that at the end of this, but it is a tourniquet. The reason why is the Marvel and DC wouldn't need to go borrow money. The money would be on the back end. This would be an incentive to really, for creators to make a big royalty checks. Back in the day in the 90s, certain variant covers or die cut covers or hologram covers, there were inkers making, and no joke, they were pulling in like $16,000 checks, and that's after their really nice page rates. And that's just inkers. I knew comic artists that were royalty checks like $40,000 on some issues back in the day and stuff like that, without naming names or books. Giant checks, and that money's long gone. Some of these creators still working in the industry today for poverty wages. They know that's in the rear view. Now, the royalty system would cause the best creators to come in and do their best work looking for money. The companies wouldn't need handout capital. The reality is to pay that $1,000 page rate to put the money up front, comics have to be profitable. Right now, comics are not turning profits. They're losing money every month. So there is no profit to reinvest in talent. This is something, though, the American comic book industry has been doing for years at Marvel and DC. They have not been investing profits into talent. I don't know where the money goes, but it's not been going into better page rates. Because of that, they've also not been cultivating or growing new talent. There's a lot of angles to this. Now, why I say this won't work in the long run is once you get an artist and he's making a couple of $20,000 checks on a run or something like that, royalties, mind you, royalty checks, he's going to disappear. It works in theory. It could cause late books. It could cause a lot of things, but it is a quick fix. And on paper, it should work. Will it? I don't think so. Will these companies even do this? I doubt it. But do they have to? They're in that position.
So Millar goes on to say, I think the driving market is a couple of years away from complete collapse. Like, yikes. Okay, see, people are just saying it out right now. And he claims all indie companies are hurting because nobody's coming in for Marvel or DC books anymore, which is something that Shane has talked about repeatedly. If you don't have people flipping through to the Marvel and DC sections of your previous catalog, what reason is there to even look into the previous catalog anymore? Same reason for going to a comic book shop. If I'm not going there for the tentpole characters like X-Men or Superman, what am I even going there in there for? Maybe I'll find something I like. Maybe, like, why are you going there on a chance? Yes, ain't cheap. So he believes that whoever that does this first will have a talent migration like the industry has never seen. Now, Mark, I hate to be, the bearer of bad news, but when you start waving this 50% royalty checks in front of everyone, you're not just going to attract the biggest talents in the world. You're going to also attract the biggest leeches in the world. All the T. Franklins and all those people who think that, yay, now I'm going to get a big fat royalty check just because I'm able to sell my check boxes, when in reality, nobody's paying for their stuff. Now, one big problem with what Mark was proposing also is that he's trying to fix it at the penciler and the writer level. But I think he forgets that he's talking about corporate comics, i.e., whatever that happens in this book is controlled by this group of people called editorial. And editorials are the ones that decide if you can actually make certain things happen to their characters, which is unfortunately the way editorial has been in the past few years, or the past 5 years, according to Mark Millar over here. They have been really just focusing on the whole, let's gay this up, let's gender change that, let's do all these changes to existing characters. We sell more on checkboxes. We tell people it's very important to buy. If you don't buy, you're basically a bigot. We basically threaten our customers and force them to like something without telling them why they even need to like it. We don't tell them, here's an entertaining story, you should like it. No. If you don't like it, you are a bad, racist bigot. So if that is the way editorial is treating people, it doesn't matter what kind of talent you bring in. Nothing's going to change in the inherent storytelling. Nobody's going to be entertained by it, no matter what you sell. I don't care if you manage to get Jim Lee drawing and Jeff Loeb writing again. Nobody's going to pick that book up unless somehow the stories are compelling enough.
One of the things with this royalty system is built for meritocracy. And meritocracy is something that's not thriving in the American comic book industry today. And a lot of this is sidestepping the big issue. And you could come up with all the business plans for the American comic book industry you want. But without addressing the actual problem, which is the content that you produce, distribution, royalty systems, all of this isn't going to fix it. The royalty system isn't why top talent isn't making books. Top talent's not making books because they don't hit the diversity boxes that Marvel and DC think it's fashionable to hire today. Representation, things like that. Well, we need to hire the certain people, despite, even if they're interested in comics, we need this demographic of creator. And comics is a thing where it's what you can produce, not the color of your skin, your sexuality, things like that, especially in mainstream comics. They're supposed to be escapism. They're not supposed to be about the creator's politics, their identity, their sexual interest. It's supposed to be about the character, not the creator's personal life. So it's a weird dynamic that would have to get fixed for any of this to actually take hold. If you guys will hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notification. Also, Shay Davis's Axcend Level Up. If you guys will, please go check this out. $102,150,000. If you guys will, the link is down below. Click on it. Takes you to 9 Lives Comics. Back this book today. I'll leave you guys with a trailer for this smash hit comic.
I dream of a world carefully crafted, beautifully flawed. This is Axcend. In this game of life, there is one thing that determines a victor. A player's ability to grow. A player's ability to evolve. A player's ability to survive. My name is dog. Choose to play. Choose to upgrade. Choose to level up. Choose to Axcend.